I want to talk about Charlotte then now. So coming back around again, there are probably a half a dozen to a dozen cities that are as good as Charlotte as an investment market, but there's none that are actually better, in our opinion, okay? This is one of the core places where no matter what you look at, you've got inbound migration coming from all the high population density, cold, expensive cities, Boston, New York, DC, Chicago, Detroit, the whole upper Midwest, all of Ohio, making its way down to Charlotte. You see it, right? Everybody you meet has an accent like mine, right? So what we're trying to do now is figure out, the concept is find a region of the country that's working, then find the metro area in the country that's working in that region, and then within the metro area find the pockets that are starting to pop. And one of my favorite ways of forecasting where the market's going is looking at the population centers as they grow and then figuring out where the opportunity is going to be. So here's 1940. You can't see this that well, but here's Charlotte. Okay, here's Mooresville. Here's Weddington and Waxhaw and that stuff. Here's Gastonia, here's Concord. So you get the feel for it? Looks like a big nasty weather map, but here's what I want to show you. 1940, the dark spots are high density population, and then as it goes to green and yellow, it gets looser and looser. So nobody lives here, some people live here, and a lot of people live here. 1940, there's 1950, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, and today. And the forecast is 2030, 2040, 2050. So if you think that it's going to get looser around here, I think you're all wet. It's only going to get tighter. But the point is, I got to go back here. Here's 2000, 2000, 2020. A lot of us can look at Mooresville, barely on the map, all of a sudden starting to get cranking, and it's forecasted to go heavy from there. Gastonia is a really interesting trajectory here, because if you look at the directions, we understand the lake is the pull north. And then we understand that Concord and Kannapolis is the pull that direction, Gastonia is the pull this direction, and then all this stuff to the south is just like it's all spread across this. All right? But again, going back all the way to 1940, you can't miss where these places are growing. So the question is, where are our picks in Charlotte where the markets are going now? I'll tell you what my personal one is. I just bought 2 houses last week, okay? And I'm going to share with you my own personal thesis, even though I know I'm going to regret it, because I'm going to see one of you guys at an open house at some point and say, oh, he's going to outbid me, she's going to outbid me. But I want to tell you anyway, because it just illustrates the point. And again, our hope here is that if you like this and you want to start to make plans to build a real estate portfolio, that you see that we've got our heads on straight. We have a lot of data to work with. We have a methodology of picking these winners. And we've got all the pieces in place to help you do it. So what I really dig about, actually let me go to this next thing. I'm going to jump right to this. So the transit plan. Transit planning, highway expansions, train stations, bus depots, all that stuff is all based upon research and studies that go way beyond what I've been doing here, but it's the same basic idea. Where are the people going to need to get into the city from? Where's the population going to be, so we don't have what sometimes happens, which is overcrowding in schools, overcrowding on roads. How do the city planners get out ahead of that? And then where do they build the transit? So you probably have heard about the light rail coming north, right? If you've read about it or heard about it, here's the latest as of January of this year. This is Mooresville, this is downtown Charlotte, and it is recommended at this stage that they build a light rail train that's going to basically make its way up all the way to Mount Morn, which is a mile or two this direction, okay? Now, some people have already figured this out, because you can see a whole bunch of apartment complexes going in right near where that train station is going to be. This is the north trajectory. This is the east-west trajectory. So here's downtown Charlotte, all the way down here to Matthews, all the way out here to Belmont, and then a dotted line going out to Gastonia. This stretch right here, going to Belmont's been approved. All right, so this is where I get excited. Here's the airport. You know what's being built right next to the airport? 2,500 job Amazon distribution center, okay? If you drive by it, if you go by the intersection of 485 and 85, you're going to see a thing that looks like a mall. And it's not a mall, but it kind of is a mall. You just can't go inside. It's got everything that a mall would normally have except for people. It's got the bots that bring it out and drop it in a basket and deliver it to your house. It is a mall, but customers don't go in, they deliver it to your house. That's Amazon's distribution facility. 2,500 jobs going right here, okay? Train stations going right here, 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 and here, and then one in Belmont. Every place you see a dot, property values within walking distance of that dot are going to double in the next 10 years, maybe 5, all right? My belief, I just bought 2 houses at about $200,000 a piece in Belmont, walkable to the train, both can be worth 300 grand the day that train station opens. All right, that's the kind of thinking that I want you thinking about. So Charlotte is a winner. Anything in Charlotte, basically, if you're buying a decent neighborhood, it's going to be a winner. Don't buy the worst house you can find. Buy the best house you can find in the neighborhood that you choose, right? But then when you can find the places where the property values are necessarily going to go up because the demand is going to get higher. One of the houses I bought, the listing agent, very nice gal, I asked her, I said, what's the buzz about the train station? She goes, well, nobody cares about that yet because it's not going to be open for 3 years. Perfect, right? Her customers are buying homes to live in them. So they don't care about the train station now because they're not going to use the train station now. I'm perfectly happy to buy it. I waited until the train station got approved before I invested because I didn't want to find out they didn't approve it. Like I probably could have gotten a better deal a month earlier. But I waited until it got approved, so I knew that was going to happen. There's still a chance it won't because things can change, but I'm pretty sure it's going to. But the fact that my competition who are buying houses, most of them are home buyers and they don't think this is relevant to them yet, means that I'm still getting pre-train station prices, and that exists everywhere you see a dot right here. Pre-train station pricing in a place where the commute from here to here is going to be like 13 minutes, and there's no traffic on these train tracks right here, right? Is that making sense? So check this out now. I decided to this is 2030, again, Charlotte, Gastonia, Mooresville, Concord. And then here is the transit plans. I'm going to try to just bring them through. So you can see the dark circles are where they're saying in 10 years, the population is going to be booming. And you can see that they're bringing the transit to those places, right? So our core advice is to pay attention to where these circles are getting darker and just buy there, right? It's not rocket science. Population growth equals housing demand equals upward pressure on prices and rents.